Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 164 of our BU 365-day challenge to do one thing every day that improves us in some way. This month, the month of June, this segment, we are focusing on the relationship area and aspect of our life. There's a life framework that I've used for over 4 decades, learned it originally from Tony Robbins, I believe, and it had 7 different areas and aspects of our life: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution, and finances. Did I say finances? Finances. That's a 7. And then last year, in 2021, I joined a coaching program for a year and learned about confidence and communication. And since I think those are foundational things, I've kept them and I added them to my goals and my personal framework, and I kept them in my framework again this year, and I'm kind of testing out and seeing if I want to continue to focus on them as separate goal areas and improvement areas, or if next year I'll have gotten to where I want to get, which I doubt, and I'll take them out of the framework. So right now I use a 9-part life framework for my every area and aspect of my life, right? Because they all are interrelated. We're talking about relationships this month, and today's topic is, according to my calendar, honesty. And so I started thinking about honesty in relationships. Now, I'm divorced, so obviously there wasn't a whole lot of honesty going on in my primary personal relationship. To me, honesty is foundational. It's foundational for building trust, and we need trust in our relationships if a relationship is going to thrive and last the long haul. Now, there's all different types of relationships. We've talked about that, and some more important than others. But I believe there has to be an element of trust and trustworthiness for relationships in any area or aspect of our life to survive and thrive. So we're going to talk about 20 key traits of an honest person. I'm going to just read my list with my magnifying glass because it's a really good list. And I'm going to share 5 ways that you can build trust and honesty into your relationship or into any relationship that you want. Now, and I'm actually going to add a bonus one, but it's up to you. Our action item today is just on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most important, 1 being the least. How important do you believe that honesty is in your relationships? I think it's super important, but I want to know what you think, and not what you think in the past, what you think it should be, not what you think I want to hear, because I don't care. It's up to you. You're just being honest with yourself in terms of how much you think honesty is important to your relationship. So what are 20 key traits of an honest person? I'm not going to count them because I didn't number them and I will lose count. So I'm just going to read them off. We could turn this into a checklist is what I was thinking for myself today. Traits of an honest person. They don't exaggerate. They have empathy for others. They don't gossip or talk behind people's backs. Their words and their actions match. They know how to keep promises. They are accountable for themselves. They're transparent. They don't like making excuses. They aren't easily angered. They don't hold grudges. They're truthful even when they don't want to be. They have integrity. They're honest with themselves. They can admit when they're wrong. They are trusting in their relationships. They aren't afraid of what others think of them. They understand mistakes happen and learn from them. They tell the truth even when it's difficult. They're honest because it's the right thing to do, and they're not driven by money or fame. So what are 5 ways that we can go about building trust and honesty into our relationships if maybe we're not where we want to be, or maybe our partner isn't where we want him, her, or whatever to be in our relationship? Maybe you have a business partner and you're not confident, 100% confident that they're honest and with you in terms of all the areas and aspects of business. So what are some ways we can be more trustworthy, build trust, and build honesty into our relationships? Number 1, we have to know ourselves and our intentions. Every relationship isn't meant to be a deep, 100% honest relationship. Our acquaintances, the people we meet on social media, we show them the sides of us that we want them to see. They don't need to know everything. There's this big push for vulnerability on the internet right now, because if you're vulnerable, people will trust you. But guess what? Just because you're vulnerable, people aren't going to trust you. because it depends how, if you're honestly and being in integrity when you're sharing vulnerability, or you're just sharing because that's what some guru taught you to do and said, oh, tell your origin story and be really vulnerable. I know a super successful online guru who made up an origin story, like just created it, fabricated it, because it's what he wanted his, yes, it was a he, what he wanted his perfect ideal customer and audience to hear and know. So there's like zero truth to that origin story, yet hundreds of thousands of people believe it. So know yourself and know your intentions. And I would contend that if your intentions are good and to make the world a better place, you're doing fine. If they're not, you maybe have to check yourself from an integrity standpoint with respect to intentions. And that's up to you too. Everybody, each and every one of us, get to decide what integrity is to us, what line, where that line in the sand is, what line we will and will not cross. Number 2, make your actions match your words. Nothing, and this is true all the time. If our actions and our body language don't match, people sense that at an intuitive level and they don't trust you. Number 3, be sincere about your reactions. I laugh because my daughter and I have, and my son too, if you want to know what we're thinking or feeling, you just look at our face, because as much as we try to hide it sometimes, we do not have poker faces in my family. And what you see is normally our first reaction. So if you're just paying a little bit of attention, if I'm horrified, shocked, or surprised, it's pretty easy to tell. So be sincere in your reactions, because you're not really going to be able to cover them up. I've learned a long time ago when I was a little girl that it's easier to tell the truth and be honest all the time than it is to tell fibs or sugarcoat things and then have to remember all of the sugarcoating and the fibs and the things that you've told different people. It's just easier to be honest. Be open to feedback. That's one that we all have to learn. Number 5, accept your partner as a separate person, because they are, just like we have to accept our kids and our grandkids as separate people. They are their own little individual people, and we have to respect that and encourage that in them. And then a bonus one, create an atmosphere that encourages vulnerability. And again, the word vulnerability, to me, it's important to be yourself. And being yourself means that you share information and are vulnerable in some ways. Go ahead and do that. But if it's not natural for you to do that, and if it feels wrong for you to do that, guess what? Then it's not right for you. So, and that doesn't mean just uncomfortable, right? Sometimes we feel uncomfortable, but we know also that it's the right thing that we share that. Other times we feel uncomfortable and we're like, yeah, I feel uncomfortable because this is not a strategy that I feel comfortable with. This is not a thing I think is the right thing to do when I'm growing and building my business, or when I'm interacting with other people and building relationships. So what's our action item today? Scale of 1 to 10. How important do you personally, right this instant, before you read or heard any of these lists, think that honesty is in your relationships? And if you want to specify a relationship, you can say, hey, at work and in business, I think it's an 8. At home, I think it's a 10 with my primary significant other. With my kids, I think it's a 6, because I'm teaching them to be and have goals and virtues like, well, I want to demonstrate to them certain things, but other things, I also want them to remember to be kind. And yeah, it's important to say things and give feedback even when it's difficult, but sometimes it's not urgent and important, and it's none of our business, right? Sometimes things are none of our business and we should just not say them. But we can teach them things like not gossiping or talking about people behind their backs. All right, any questions, hit me up. That's our little discussion about honesty today. If I can help you anyway, ask. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow for day 165, I think, already, of our 365-day challenge. Get out your lifeline exercises. We're going to do the lifeline exercise tomorrow as part of our topics. And I'm not going to share our topics. I'm going to surprise you. All right, have an awesome day, and I'll be with you tomorrow.